Stay tuned because in just a moment, I'm going to expose the most critical mistake of them all, the single factor that might be undermining your entire garden without you even being aware of it. Enhance moisture with a pebble tray. Keeping your plants adequately watered doesn't necessitate constant misting, a practice that can foster mold development. A pebble tray presents both an effective and visually appealing method. To set one up, locate a shallow container, evenly distribute a layer of decorative stones or pebbles across its bottom, and add water until the level is just below the tops of the stones. Be aware, however, that a single crucial error could transform your plant's haven into a breeding site for problems. I'll explain what that is shortly. Once your tray is prepared, place your potted plants atop the pebbles, ensuring their containers are not immersed in the water. As the water naturally evaporates, it establishes a humid microenvironment around the plants. This strategy is especially advantageous for ferns, orchids, and other plant species that flourish in high humidity settings. This method is particularly beneficial during the colder months when indoor heating systems drastically lower the air's moisture content. Beyond its functional utility, a pebble tray also imparts a decorative flair to any indoor plant arrangement, successfully blending practicality with visual appeal. It's a simple approach to keeping plants hydrated without additional effort. Utilize crushed eggshells for free calcium. Eggshells act as a superb natural source of calcium, a nutrient vital for plant well-being. Discarding them is a missed opportunity to enrich your soil quality. Calcium is essential for strengthening cell walls, thereby preventing conditions like blossom end rot, which frequently affects tomatoes, peppers, and squash. To use eggshells efficiently, rinse them thoroughly, let them dry out completely, and then crush them into tiny pieces. Scatter these fragments around the base of your plants to facilitate gradual decomposition and the release of nutrients into the soil. For more rapid absorption, grinding the eggshells into a fine powder before application makes the calcium available more quickly. This method ensures plants receive nourishment without delay. An added benefit is their natural pest-repelling effect. Slugs and snails are discouraged from traversing the sharp edges of the crushed shells, providing an extra safeguard for your plants. Avoid throwing out eggshells. They can contribute to your plant's growth. Apply leftover egg water to plants. Boiling eggs leaches valuable minerals, including calcium and magnesium, into the water. Instead of pouring this nutrient-dense liquid down the drain, repurpose it to benefit plant health. Ensure the water cools down completely before using it to avoid harming delicate root systems. Tomatoes, peppers, and roses, along with other species, gain considerably from the mineral enrichment supplied by egg water. This economical technique boosts overall plant vigor by delivering essential nutrients straight to the soil. Concerns about odor are unfounded, as cooled egg water is completely odorless. This practice aligns with sustainable gardening methods, making good use of existing resources while fostering plant prosperity. Water from boiling eggs isn't merely waste, it's nourishment for your plants. Address fungal issues with baking soda. Baking soda functions as an adaptable remedy for tackling typical garden issues, especially fungal infections like powdery mildew. This ailment appears as a white powdery film on leaves, diminishing plant strength and yield. To concoct an effective remedy, dissolve 1 tablespoon of baking soda in a gallon of water. Apply this mixture moderately to the affected leaves with a spray bottle for even coverage. This solution interferes with fungal development and limits its propagation. While infrequent use of baking soda helps manage fungi, excessive application might alter soil pH levels. Prudence is essential to harness the benefits without causing unintended harm. Incorporating this technique into a comprehensive plant care strategy aids in preserving a healthy garden setting. If your leaves show signs of trouble, a basic kitchen ingredient might offer a solution. Enrich soil using coffee grounds. Do you enjoy coffee each morning? If yes, then congratulations. You possess a free supply of nitrogen for your garden. Coffee grounds are abundant in this crucial nutrient, which plants greatly appreciate. Rather than discarding them, sprinkle used coffee grounds around your plants. They function as a natural fertilizer, enhancing soil composition and promoting lush, green growth. Furthermore, worms are particularly fond of coffee grounds, and more worms signify healthier soil, a definite advantage. However, be aware that used coffee grounds are somewhat acidic, making them ideal for acid-loving plants such as blueberries, azaleas, and hydrangeas. Nevertheless, excessive amounts can disrupt your soil's pH balance, so moderation is advisable. If you're concerned about caffeine impacting your plants, rest assured, most caffeine is extracted during brewing, so your tomatoes won't start trembling as if they've consumed too many espressos. Save and dry seeds. Before the advent of grocery stores and garden centers, individuals had to preserve their own seeds. The Amish continue this practice, and frankly, it's a brilliant strategy. The concept is straightforward. Select the most robust, highest-yielding plants and save their seeds for the subsequent season. This allows you to naturally propagate the best genetic traits for your garden. For instance, if you cultivated a tomato plant that yielded an exceptional amount of fruit, save some seeds from that specific plant. Allow them to dry thoroughly, store them inside a paper envelope, and label it clearly so you remember their identity. This approach is not only intelligent, but also economical. Why purchase seeds annually when you can cultivate your own? Additionally, there's a unique sense of fulfillment in growing a plant from a seed you personally saved. Scatter hair for pest deterrence. Yes, you read that correctly. Human hair can help keep animals like rabbits and deer away from your garden. They dislike the scent and tend to avoid areas where they detect it. If you have long hair and brush it regularly, simply gather the shed strands and distribute them around your plants. If you wish to be more thorough, you could visit a local barber shop and request a bag of hair clippings. It might seem unusual, but your garden will benefit. Hair also contributes nitrogen to the soil as it breaks down, a double benefit. And if your family members question why you're collecting hair, just explain it's an Amish gardening secret. Repel insects with marigolds. Marigolds function somewhat like security personnel for your garden. They ward off pests while presenting a beautiful appearance. Plant them surrounding your vegetable plots to deter aphids, mosquitoes, and nematodes. Their fragrance confuses pests, making it more difficult for them to locate your crops. An added advantage, marigolds attract pollinators such as bees and butterflies, leading to improved fruit and vegetable yields. Use leftover tea as fertilizer. Instead of discarding used tea leaves, incorporate them into your soil. Tea possesses nitrogen, phosphorus, and tannins that benefit plants. Green tea, specifically, contains 4 times more nitrogen than coffee grounds, positioning it as an excellent natural fertilizer. Just remember to take out any staples from tea bags prior to burying them. Mix tiny seeds with cornmeal. Sowing tiny seeds evenly can be challenging. One moment you're carefully sprinkling them, and the next they're clustered together like children during playtime. Combining small seeds with cornmeal facilitates more uniform distribution. This easy trick can enhance germination rates by as much as 30%. Have you ever experienced carrots growing in a jumbled mess because the seeds were sown too closely? This method will help prevent that issue. Repel ants with a vinegar spray. Ants are notorious for crashing garden gatherings. One minute you're appreciating your plants, the next a small procession of them is marching through your flower bed as if they own it. It's time to inform them they weren't invited. The Amish, known for their practical gardening methods, have long used vinegar to keep pests away. White vinegar disrupts ant scent trails, making it almost impossible for them to navigate back to their nests, similar to disabling the GPS during a journey. Simply combine equal amounts of vinegar and water in a spray bottle and apply it around affected zones. Exercise caution not to spray directly onto plants, as vinegar is potent enough to harm leaves. If you locate an anthill nearby, pour a small amount of undiluted vinegar onto it and observe them evacuate as if served an eviction notice. Create manure tea for fertilizer. Before you react negatively to the term manure tea, let me explain. The Amish have utilized this liquid gold for generations, and they certainly understand how to cultivate healthy plants without relying on commercially produced fertilizers. Manure tea is precisely what its name implies. It's produced by soaking aged manure in water, resulting in a nutrient-packed concoction that plants adore. Consider it a potent smoothie for your soil. To prepare it, obtain a burlap sack or an old pillowcase, fill it with well-rotted manure, cow, horse, or chicken manure are ideal choices, and immerse it in a 5-gallon bucket of water. Allow it to steep for approximately 3 days, stirring periodically. Once the water achieves a deep brown hue, it's prepared. Simply dilute it before applying it around your plants. If you can overlook the name, your plants will express their gratitude with vigorous, lush growth. Just be careful not to confuse it with your morning beverage. Grow potatoes in barrels. If you've ever attempted to grow potatoes using conventional methods, you're aware it entails significant digging, potential backstrain, and the occasional surprise of finding a potato you had forgotten planting. There exists a superior method as simple as employing a barrel. This technique, frequently utilized in Amish communities where effectiveness is paramount, transforms a single barrel into a vertical potato production system. Begin by positioning seed potatoes near the bottom, covered with a layer of soil. As the plants develop, continue adding more soil until you reach the barrel's rim. When it's time to harvest, simply overturn the barrel and gather your potatoes. Practice companion planting. Certain plants simply complement each other, akin to peanut butter and jelly. Others, however, do not. The Amish, possessing a profound comprehension of natural cultivation practices, have refined the technique of companion planting. For instance, planting basil adjacent to tomatoes not only enhances their taste, but also helps deter pests. Marigolds planted near vegetables repel insects, while carrots and onions form a beneficial partnership. Onions confuse carrot flies, and carrots reciprocate by discouraging onion pests. Control weeds with vinegar or bleach weeds are the unwelcome guests in the garden. You didn't invite them, you don't desire their presence, yet they appear nonetheless. Vinegar offers a swift, natural means to eliminate them. Spray it directly onto weeds during a hot day, and within 24 hours, they will begin to wither. Bleach is also effective, but it's more potent and persists in the soil longer, so apply it judiciously. Rub aloe vera on plant cuts. Have you ever had a plant stem break and pondered if anything could be done to aid its recovery? It turns out that aloe vera, the same substance used for sunburn relief, performs remarkably well on plant injuries too. The Amish depend on natural remedies, and aloe vera is a potent example. It possesses antibacterial and antifungal qualities that shield cut stems from infections, facilitating faster healing. Simply slice open an aloe leaf, extract the gel, and gently apply it to the injured section. This method is particularly effective for succulents and delicate plants prone to snapping. And incidentally, if you happen to get a scratch while gardening, feel free to apply some to yourself as well. It's a dual benefit. Grow cuttings in a potato rooting plant. Cuttings can sometimes feel uncertain. Will they thrive or merely languish? One technique to enhance your success rate involves using a potato. Yes, a potato. Amish gardeners have employed this trick for generations because it supplies moisture, nutrients, and a firm base for new roots to establish. Just create a small opening in a raw potato, insert your cutting, and plant the entire assembly in the soil. The potato maintains the cutting's hydration while gradually decomposing, nourishing the plant as it develops. It functions like a small natural nursery for young plants. And if anyone observes you planting potatoes in unusual locations, simply state you're conducting an experiment. That usually makes you sound knowledgeable. Collect rainwater for irrigation. Watering your garden need not escalate your water expenses. The Amish have gathered rainwater for centuries, and with valid reason. It's free, natural, and devoid of chemicals like chlorine or fluoride. All that's required is a rain barrel positioned beneath your gutter's downspout. A single rainfall can rapidly fill a barrel, providing you with gallons of fresh, untreated water for your plants. This is particularly advantageous during dry periods. Instead of observing your plants wilt while the hose remains unused, you'll possess a reserve supply. Once you begin harvesting rainwater, you'll likely question why you ever paid for something nature offers freely. Label everything clearly. If you've ever planted something and subsequently forgotten its identity, you're in good company. Unidentified plants can be intriguing, but when cultivating a garden intentionally, knowing what's what is preferable. The answer is straightforward: label everything. Utilize wooden stakes, stones, or even fragments of broken terracotta pots to denote the names of your plants. Permanent markers suffice, but for longevity, consider using weatherproof paint. Sprinkle cinnamon on seedlings. Cinnamon acts as a potent antifungal substance that safeguards young seedlings against damping off disease, a subtle issue causing them to suddenly wilt and perish. A light dusting of cinnamon over the soil establishes a barrier that suppresses fungi. It also deters pests such as ants and gnats, which serves as an additional advantage. Use matchsticks in soil for magnesium. Most individuals use matchsticks for lighting candles or campfires, but did you know they can also provide your plants with a necessary nutrient enhancement? Wooden matchsticks contain magnesium and sulfur, two minerals that contribute to strong and healthy plant growth. Simply insert 4 or 5 unused wooden matches into the soil surrounding each plant. As they decompose, they discharge nutrients into the soil, functioning like miniature slow-release fertilizer spikes. This technique is especially beneficial for acid-loving plants like tomatoes, peppers, and roses. It's uncomplicated, affordable, and requires no specialized gardening expertise. Sprinkle wood ash on soil for a potassium boost. If you possess a fireplace or fire pit, you might be unknowingly holding a valuable resource of plant nourishment. Wood ash is rich in potassium and phosphorus, two vital nutrients that assist plants in developing robust root systems and yielding more flowers and fruit. The Amish, who minimize waste, have incorporated wood ash into their gardens for generations. To try this yourself, distribute a light layer of cooled wood ash around your plants, approximately 1 cup per square yard. Be cautious not to apply excessively. Too much can render the soil overly alkaline, which certain plants may not tolerate. Also, ensure you're using plain wood ash, not ash derived from charcoal briquettes or treated lumber. Your plants require nutrients, not chemicals. Grow what you love. Gardening ought to be a source of pleasure, not an obligation. If you're cultivating vegetables you don't even enjoy consuming, what is the purpose? The Amish prioritize practicality in all their endeavors, and their gardens reflect this. They cultivate what their families actually consume. Before planting anything, consider what dishes you enjoy preparing. If homemade pasta sauce is your preference, tomatoes and basil should be primary considerations. If salads are your mainstay, grow lettuce, cucumbers, and carrots. This simple change in perspective renders gardening more fulfilling. Instead of viewing the work as a burden, you'll anticipate the harvest. And nothing surpasses the flavor of homegrown food that you genuinely wish to eat, correct? Cover pots with plastic bags for humidity. Have you ever found it challenging to maintain indoor plants? One contributing factor might be overly dry air in your home, particularly during winter. The Amish, who favor straightforward and effective techniques, frequently fashion miniature greenhouses using transparent plastic bags. Here's how you can replicate this. After watering your plant, loosely drape a clear plastic bag over the pot, ensuring it doesn't make contact with the leaves. This action traps moisture, generating a humid atmosphere ideal for tropical plants or seedlings. Remember to create a few perforations in the bag to allow for air circulation. You don't want to inadvertently steam your plant. This method keeps plants content and healthy without requiring sophisticated equipment. Place ice cubes on soil for slow watering. Have you ever watered a plant only to observe the water draining out faster than you could react? Certain plants, such as orchids and succulents, favor a gradual, consistent watering rather than an abrupt inundation. This is where ice cubes prove useful. Simply position 2 or 3 ice cubes on the soil surface and allow them to melt naturally. This permits the water to infiltrate slowly, hydrating the roots without causing saturation. This technique is especially handy for hanging plants or pots with suboptimal drainage. Instead of water accumulating at the base, the ice cubes guarantee a measured, controlled release. Place coffee filters in pots to prevent soil loss. If you've ever watered a potted plant and witnessed soil escaping through the drainage holes as if making an escape, you're not alone. Fortunately, the remedy is as simple as using a coffee filter. Before introducing soil into a pot, position a coffee filter over the drainage aperture. This retains the soil while permitting surplus water to drain effectively. It acts like a safety barrier for your soil. The Amish appreciate simple, practical solutions, and this certainly qualifies. Over time, the filter will naturally decompose, but by that point, your plant's roots will be established and the soil will remain contained. No more messy spills, just contented, well-hydrated plants. Use pencil shavings as mulch. The next time you sharpen a pencil, don't discard the shavings. Believe it or not, those minuscule wood fragments can be beneficial in your garden. Pencil shavings serve as a natural mulch, aiding in moisture retention in the soil while deterring pests like gnats and fungus. Cedar wood pencils are particularly effective, as cedar possesses natural insect-repelling properties. Just sprinkle a small quantity of shavings around the base of your plants. They will decompose over time, adding organic material to the soil. It's an excellent example of recycling, and your garden might acquire a strangely pleasant scent of freshly sharpened pencils. Use onion skins as fertilizer. Onion skins might appear to be mere kitchen refuse, but they are actually loaded with potassium, calcium, and magnesium, nutrients that foster strong, vibrant plant growth. Instead of discarding them, soak the skins in water for 3 days to concoct a nutrient-dense tea. Then utilize this water to nourish your plants. Alternatively, you can bury the skins directly into the soil, where they will gradually decompose and enrich the ground. The Amish utilize everything available, and this perfectly illustrates transforming scraps into something valuable. Who would have thought onions could offer more than just inducing tears? Spray vinegar to keep rabbits away. Rabbits may appear charming, but they can cause significant damage to your garden. If you're weary of them treating your plants like a complimentary buffet, vinegar can provide assistance. Soak several cotton balls in white vinegar and position them along the perimeter of your garden. Rabbits detest the odor and will likely avoid the area. You can also spray a diluted vinegar solution around your plants, being careful to avoid direct contact with the leaves. This method is chemical-free, straightforward, and efficient. No more partially consumed vegetables, just flourishing, untouched plants. Insulate pots with wool socks. Just as you wear thick socks during winter to keep your feet warm, your plants might benefit from similar protection. Wrapping potted plants in wool socks helps insulate them against abrupt temperature fluctuations. This is particularly advantageous for outdoor pots during colder periods. The wool traps warmth, maintaining higher root temperatures and shielding them from frost. The Amish, who rely on natural materials, have long employed wool as an insulator, and it proves equally effective in the garden as it does for personal warmth. Simply slide an old wool sock over the pot's base or envelop the entire container. Your plants will remain snug even as temperatures decrease. And if your neighbors inquire about your plants wearing socks, simply explain that they too feel the cold. Put plants in the bathroom for extra humidity. If you've ever found it difficult to keep plants that prefer moisture thriving, your bathroom could potentially be their ideal environment. The consistent humidity generated by showers creates a tropical setting that ferns, orchids, and peace lilies particularly enjoy. Instead of frequently misting your plants like an overly attentive guardian, simply allow them to benefit from the natural steam produced during your daily routine. It's an effortless method to keep plants hydrated without extra exertion. If your bathroom includes a window, that's even more beneficial. Just ensure they receive adequate light. Otherwise, a grow light can serve the purpose. Use stale beer to trap slugs. Slugs might be attracted to your garden, but they have an even stronger affinity for beer. If these slimy pests are consuming your plants, a simple container of stale beer can effectively divert them. Just bury a small bowl or cup in the soil such that its rim is flush with the ground surface, then fill it with old beer. Slugs will venture in anticipating a free beverage, but they will be unable to exit. This technique is a long-standing favorite, even within Amish communities where chemical pesticides are generally avoided. Add charcoal to terrariums to keep them fresh. Terrariums resemble miniature, enchanting ecosystems within glass enclosures, but they can develop an unpleasant odor if the internal environment becomes excessively moist. This is where charcoal becomes useful. The Amish have historically used charcoal for water purification and refreshing indoor air. Within a terrarium, charcoal absorbs surplus moisture, filters out contaminants, and maintains a fresh scent. It functions as a natural air purifier for plants. To implement this, simply distribute a thin layer of activated charcoal at the base of your terrarium before adding the soil. This action will help prevent the growth of mold and the development of foul odors. Your plants will remain healthier, and your terrarium will retain its fresh appearance and smell, just like when it was first created. Use cotton string for biodegradable plant ties. Plants occasionally require some assistance for support, but plastic ties can be excessively abrasive and do not decompose naturally. Instead, opt for cotton string as a biodegradable, plant-friendly substitute. Cotton string is gentle, unlikely to damage delicate stems, and breaks down naturally over time, eliminating the need to retrieve it later. It is particularly suitable for staking tomatoes, guiding vines, or anchoring young trees. The Amish, who tend to avoid wasteful materials, frequently utilize natural fibers in their gardening practices. This simple substitution provides support for your plants while being environmentally conscious and convenient. Plus, it eliminates the visual clutter of plastic in your attractive garden. Water plants at night in summer heat can be intense, affecting plants just as significantly as humans. Watering during daylight hours is often inefficient, as much of the water evaporates before reaching the roots. The optimal approach is to water during the evening when temperatures are lower. At night, water has sufficient time to penetrate deep into the soil, delivering the necessary hydration to plants without significant loss to solar evaporation. Ensure you water the base of the plants rather than the foliage to minimize the risk of mold and mildew formation. Use newspaper to make biodegradable seed pots. Why invest in seed trays when you can fashion your own using readily available household items? The Amish are known for repurposing materials, and this technique aligns perfectly with that principle. Newspaper seed pots are not only cost-free but also biodegradable, allowing you to plant them directly into the soil once your seedlings are established. Simply roll sheets of newspaper into small containers, fill them with soil, and sow your seeds. As the plants mature, the newspaper will naturally decompose, enriching the soil with organic matter. It's an easy method for starting seeds without generating plastic waste. Use cloves to repel pests. Insects might find your garden appealing, but they generally dislike the scent of cloves. If ants, aphids, or even mosquitoes are troubling your plants, a few dried cloves can effectively deter them. Simply scatter whole cloves around your garden beds or place them in small mesh bags near problematic areas. The potent aroma confuses pests, rendering your plants less attractive to them. The Amish, who depend on natural methods for pest control, often utilize cloves and other strongly scented spices to safeguard their crops. Best of all, this approach is entirely free of chemicals and safe for both pets and plants. Use terracotta pots for slow watering. Maintaining plant hydration without overwatering can be challenging, but terracotta pots can assist in this task. Small, unglazed terracotta pots buried within the soil function as natural slow-drip irrigation devices. Simply bury a pot near your plants, ensuring the top remains uncovered. Fill it with water, and the porous nature of the material will allow moisture to gradually seep into the adjacent soil as required. This technique, often employed in Amish gardens, guarantees thorough, uniform watering without wastage. Furthermore, it reduces the frequency of watering required from you, making your garden more self-sufficient. Grow seedlings in eggshells. Eggshells are not only beneficial for composting, they also serve as ideal biodegradable containers for starting seeds. Simply crack eggs near the top, carefully rinse out the shells, and create a small drainage hole at the bottom. Fill each shell with soil, plant your seeds, and observe their development. When the seedlings are sufficiently developed for transplanting, you can plant the entire eggshell directly into the ground. The shell will decompose over time, enriching the soil with calcium This method is particularly advantageous for tomatoes, peppers, and other plants that benefit from calcium. Additionally, it's an enjoyable, zero-waste approach to giving your seedlings a robust beginning. Use crushed clam or oyster shells for soil enrichment. If you reside near coastal areas or frequently consume seafood, your discarded clam and oyster shells can serve as a valuable asset for your garden. These shells are abundant in calcium, which aids in preventing blossom end rot in plants like tomatoes and peppers. Crush the shells into small fragments and incorporate them into your soil or compost pile. Over time, they decompose slowly, releasing minerals that fortify plant cell walls and enhance root development. The Amish, often relying on natural soil conditioners, utilize shells in their agricultural practices to maintain soil health. Instead of discarding them, allow your previous seafood meal to contribute back to your garden. Use rice water as a natural fertilizer. The next time you rinse rice prior to cooking, retain the water. That opaque liquid contains starch, vitamins, and minerals that plants find beneficial. Rice water nourishes advantageous soil bacteria, enhances plant growth, and delivers a gentle nutrient supply. Simply allow it to cool and then use it to water your plants. It is especially effective for houseplants, leafy greens, and flowering varieties. Who would have imagined that something as basic as rinsing rice could also serve as plant nourishment? It's a zero-waste technique that transforms something typically discarded into a valuable gardening resource. Grow mushrooms in used coffee grounds. If you consume coffee daily, you possess a potential goldmine for cultivating mushrooms. Mushrooms thrive in nutrient-rich coffee grounds, making them an ideal substrate for growth. Compact used coffee grounds into a suitable container, introduce mushroom spores, and maintain it in a cool, dark environment. Within just a few weeks, fresh mushrooms should begin to emerge. The Amish are adept at repurposing natural materials for food cultivation, and this method adheres to that principle. If you've ever considered growing your own mushrooms, this represents one of the simplest ways to begin. Make a DIY self-watering planter with a water bottle. Have you ever returned from a weekend trip to find your plants drooping and dehydrated? A straightforward inverted water bottle can maintain their hydration during your absence. Fill a plastic bottle with water, pierce a few minuscule holes in the cap, and bury it upside down near the roots of your plants. Water will gradually permeate the soil, keeping it moist without causing waterlogging. The Amish favor low-maintenance solutions that harmonize with nature, and this technique exemplifies that approach. No more plant crises when you take brief excursions. Simply set it up and let it work. Use burlap sacks to protect plants from frost. An unexpected cold snap can devastate a garden rapidly, but a basic burlap sack can shield your plants from freezing temperatures. Prior to an anticipated frost, gently cover your plants with burlap, anchoring the edges with stones or stakes. It effectively traps warmth while permitting air exchange, safeguarding plants from frost injury. The Amish, who engage in farming throughout the year, often employ natural fabric coverings to prolong their growing seasons. Unlike plastic, burlap allows plants to respire, ensuring they remain protected without risk of suffocation. Use cardboard to stop weeds from growing. Weeds flourish in exposed soil, but a simple layer of cardboard can effectively suppress them before they emerge. Place flattened cardboard over problematic areas, moisten it thoroughly, and then cover it with mulch. This method smothers existing weeds, hinders seed germination, and eventually decomposes into organic matter. No chemical intervention is necessary. Additionally, it provides a means to recycle old boxes, benefiting both your garden and the environment. Use rope wicks for self-watering plants. If you find it challenging to keep plants watered during absences, rope wicks can manage the task for you. This technique utilizes capillary action to gradually convey water from a reservoir to your plants. Insert one end of a cotton rope into a container filled with water and bury the opposite end in the soil near your plant's roots. The rope will draw moisture upward as the plant requires it, maintaining consistent soil moisture. Use egg cartons as seed starters. When starting seeds indoors, forego costly trays. Egg cartons serve as excellent biodegradable seed starters. Simply fill each compartment with soil, plant a seed, and keep them adequately moist. Once the seedlings are robust enough, you can plant the entire carton section directly into the ground. The carton will naturally decompose, nourishing the soil as the plant develops. The Amish appreciate repurposing common items, and this method transforms a disposable product into something practical. Furthermore, it helps keep plastic waste out of the garden. Use milk to prevent powdery mildew. Powdery mildew can coat your plants in a white, dusty layer, but a simple milk solution can halt its progression. Combine 1 part milk with 2 parts water and spray it onto the affected leaves. The natural enzymes present in milk aid in inhibiting fungal growth and bolstering the plant's immune system. This method has been employed for centuries and is favored in organic gardening practices. If your squash or rose plants frequently suffer from mildew, this inexpensive and easy remedy could prove effective. Grow sweet potatoes in a water jar. If you've ever desired to cultivate your own sweet potatoes, all you require is a potato, a jar, and some water. Insert toothpicks into a sweet potato and position it so that it's partially suspended in a jar of water, ensuring the lower portion remains submerged. Within a few weeks, roots will develop and vines will begin to sprout. Once they appear sufficiently strong, transplant them into soil and observe your sweet potato crop flourish. This technique has been utilized for generations and represents one of the simplest methods for propagating new plants. Plus, observing the process is quite engaging. Use aluminum foil to reflect sunlight on shade-loving plants. Finally, not all plants prosper in direct sunlight, yet sometimes they require a bit more brightness to grow optimally. A simple technique involves positioning aluminum foil near plants to reflect sunlight onto them. Cut pieces of foil and arrange them on the ground surrounding shade-loving plants or on nearby walls. This increases light exposure without causing the plant to overheat. The Amish often utilize natural reflectors to enhance plant growth. If your lettuce or spinach appears underdeveloped, a slight increase in light might be precisely what they need. And that concludes my list of 50 game-changing Amish gardening hacks designed to help your plants thrive exceptionally well. From utilizing banana peels to employing coffee filters, it's remarkable how simple approaches can yield such substantial improvements. Now, I'm interested to hear from you. Which hack are you most eager to implement? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. If you found this information valuable, kindly give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more gardening knowledge. Happy planting, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.